Seeing none, the agenda will remain as is. Now moving on to our next order of business, we will actually be doing ex officio reports next. So could I please have the report of the advisor?
Yeah, I left some flyers for you all in regards to You and I Care Week. There's some over there. Please follow the link and all that. Absolutely, a letter to me also. We've also opened, and when I mean we, the conduct office has also opened an opportunity for students to be in a part of our conduct committee members. So if you're interested, please let me know. These individuals will be responsible for making decisions regarding academic misconduct, behavioral misconduct, as well as Title IX should you wish to do so. If you want to get a little bit more understanding of it, Anvi, Ohik, and Nathan are part of the committee, so you can ask any questions if you'd like to have the student perspective. But I'll be emailing out the interest form tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And since the trustee and the president are not here, we move on to the rest of officer reports. So could I please have the report of the vice president, who is also not here, so I will be reading that one. Okay, so what has Delai done since last week? Okay, so Delai welcomes everyone to a happy GBM 8, and for things she has did so far, she attended the Missouri Valley Conference basketball game tournament in St. Louis. She collaborated with student affairs to support flame sports and UIC athletics. They had over 5 UIC buses with 100 plus students from Chicago to St. Louis. And that was the first time the program has ever made it to that game in history. And she also attended the last women's basketball home game and pregame party. She also attended the meeting for flame sports, also had a meeting with the director of public affairs, also attended the Order of Omega FSL ceremony. And for announcements, she says to support our women's basketball team at Missouri Valley Conference in St. Louis as well. And if you have any questions, please contact her at her given email. And then moving along, could I please have the report of the treasurer?
Happy GBM 9 for meeting 8, everyone. I met with Vice President Delai to discuss the food truck day event, the bill that we will talk about more later today. Met with Advisor Carlos to provide updates on the budget and allocations for the rest of the semester. For catering today, we have chicken tacos, also a vegetarian option with tofu, cookies, and rice cakes. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any immediate questions for our treasurer? Seeing none, the report will be fine. So moving along, could I please have the report of the chief of staff?
Hello everyone. I had my check-in to the treasurer, keepers life, and diversity inclusion this week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Simple and short as always, Ashley. Okay. So moving on, could I please have the report of the director of diversity and inclusion?
Alright guys, so I finalized cultural fest planning. We changed from the name of cultural fest to around the world at UIC. And I had my chief of staff check in, I met with the EBO, and then I'll be meeting with the district cultural center soon. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions for our director of diversity and inclusion? Seeing none, the report will be filed. Moving on, thank you for the report of the legislative affairs director. She is not here, so I'll be reading this one as well. So for initiative updates, she's been working on the Women's History Hygiene Drive, Party to the Polls, the Mental Health Town Hall, and for meetings, she attended some with COS Ashley, meeting with the Wellness Center, and also meeting with our advisor Carlos. And if you have any questions for her, please reach out to her through her email. And moving on, could I please have the report of the Director of Public Affairs?
Hey everybody, happy meeting 8. So some initiative updates are our Technical Student Leaders event will be happening at Rosebud this semester. We're planning for April 15th. Also, we are working on some Instagram giveaways. We have a painting night initiative that we're planning. So reach out to me if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any immediate questions for our Director of Public Affairs? Seeing none, the report will be filed. Moving along, could I please have the report of the Director of Student Success?
Finalize the bills for the professional event, AI resources, and picnic night. We began reaching out to guest speakers we're going to for the professional event. We're meeting up with people from the hackathon event, and I have an upcoming meeting with the chief of staff.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions for the Director of Student Success? Seeing none, the report will be filed. Moving on, could I please have the report of the Director of Campus Life?
Yes. So we hosted a movie night, which was a success. Shout out to Jackie for letting
us use her Amazon account for it, otherwise we would not have hosted movie night that day. First aid kits was also a success, and I'm continuing to work on the basketball tournament. That's it.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any immediate questions for the Director of Campus Life? Seeing none, therefore we file. And last but not least, could I please have the report of the Campus Safety Commissioner?
Yes, so as always, if you join the Campus Safety Commission at the form link down below. Important updates for Campus Safety Week. The dates on here are actually wrong. So for the Campus Safety Town Hall, listen clearly. The Town Hall will be on Tuesday, March 17th at 2:30 p.m. at the Fort Dearborn Room. This is next Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. The UICPD tabling event is still to be announced on Monday. It'll take place next Monday ideally, but I will also send a Slack message once that's confirmed. Tabling event with the Office of Preparedness and Response is canceled, but they are interested in doing something at the Town Hall, which I will also send out an update for soon. And then the Safe Night giveaway is still set for Wednesday, March 18th at 12 p.m. Organized by Avery and the DIC. So, quick reminder again, the Town Hall is next Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. at the Fort Dearborn Room. And then I have the Campus Life Committee as well as the Office of Preparedness and Response, as well as Advisor Carlos. And then for your safety fact of the week, there is a map for the blue light poles you see all on campus. There's a link to it right there. If you have any questions, feel free to send me.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any immediate questions for our Campus Safety Commissioner? Seeing none, therefore we file. And sorry, I misspoke. Last but not least, our report from the President.
All right, well, good evening, everybody. How are we doing today? Good. Okay, you guys are louder than that. Come on, it's week 9. How are we doing today? Good. All right, we'll work. Well, I guess we've been working on it. I get you guys are tired. It's midterm season. Well, happy week 9. We're at that midpoint, a little past midpoint of the semester. So some general updates. Just some GBM logistics. We will not be having GBM next week because we have our social on Wednesday, which Matoya will discuss during announcements if he hasn't already today. The week after is going to be spring break. The week after will be March 30th, which we'll have 2 guest speakers. We'll have the Committee to Reimagine General Education, and we will also have the Vice Chancellor for Engagement, Lionel Allen. So that will be a business professional GBM, so note that. And then the following GBM, April 6th, will be the State of the Student. And the following GBM will be the last GBM, which is April 13th, which the Vice Chancellor for Strategic Marketing and Communications, Dr. Chandra Harris McCrae, will also be joining us. That will be a business professional GBM. We will also take our group pictures, and if you were a senior who filled out the stool, we'll go ahead and get you your stool, and we'll take some great pictures there. Those 3 sequences, the March 30th GBM, the State of the Student, and then also April 13th GBM will all be business professional GBM, so this is that time that I'm telling you, so please be prepared for that. We have a number of events coming up. Past week has been very busy. To highlight a couple of meetings was the Diversity Advisory Council meeting, which advises the Provost and the Vice Chancellor for Engagement on matters of diversity. So we were just kind of discussing the on-campus matter of kind of the gender violence assault that occurred a couple weeks in the West Campus garage, and then taking a look at the messaging behind that, and that kind of goes back to our overall kind of charge by the Chancellor to kind of take a little bit more review of official messaging conducted by the university. So more on that will be coming very soon, but we've also been a matter of, I did go down to St. Louis yesterday, which was very fun to cheer on our men's basketball team. So that was a very tough loss. It was very upsetting, but making it to the Missouri Valley Conference Championship for the first time ever in this championship is a huge accomplishment. We didn't win, unfortunately. If we won, we would have gone to the more traditional, what many people know as March Madness. But cheers on for next year. Women's basketball is this weekend, and as Jacob pointed out, there is a concert today at 7:30. So hopefully we can wrap up before 7:30, and then many of you guys can head over to that concert. But continue to support all our extracurriculars and campus departments as the semester finishes out. USG will be having a number of events coming up. This week is the hygiene drive. This Friday is going to be Pi Day, which I am very excited about. So we'll be doing Pi Day 11 to 1 in the library. If you can volunteer, Ashley will send out a volunteer sheet. Ashley, thank you. She'll send that out in the Slack, so if you can come, I should be there. Ebor will also be there. We'll be serving pie, so that graphic is there. So please repost it. I'm very excited about Pi Day. We have voter registration coming up in a couple weeks, which Anvi can discuss later. And St. Patrick's Day, there's a doubleheader game with softball and baseball on the 17th, so I encourage you to go out to those games. Campus Safety Week will be the week soon after. We'll be doing UIC PD tabling. The Campus Safety Commissioner and I will be meeting with Chief Booker tomorrow to kind of discuss things. We'll also have an event with UIC Ready, the Safe Night Out giveaway. And we'll also have the Campus Safety Town Hall, and remind me, that's March 17th, Zaid, correct? From 2:30 to 5 p.m. Reminder that town halls are mandatory for representatives per our Constitution, so all of you guys are expected to be there. If you cannot be there, you should message. You should email both myself and Matoy well in advance of that, so probably a week before if you're unable to make it. The really only excusable thing is if you're kind of sick or if you have a class during it, but you're kind of expected to come. Reminder that we will also be having the mental health care kit giveaway. We have the basketball tournament coming up, and then you and I will be care tabling the week of the 1st. But at least in the next 2 weeks before spring break, those are kind of the events. So do keep in mind as we post them on Instagram so that you're up to date with those items. But a great job to Campus Life Committee last week with the safety kit giveaway and also movie night. And also we had our last Flametores pregame party over in the bowling alley, so those were really great. And shout out to PAC for PAC tabling as well. As far as other things go, 2 more GBMs after this, guys. So our time is cycling up, which breaks my heart, and it's very sad. But I am excited for summer. And I do hope that we use our time together, so come out to events and stuff. As far as representative engagement points is going, I can give you guys a quick average. You guys are averaging around about a 14, which is great. So continue to improve, and you can always reach out to your directors about your engagement points for the rest of the semester. Notice that's 2 more GBMs, about 3 or 4 committee meetings, and then the events that we have left to get to you to your 30 so you can come on the gala. And continue to work with your committee directors to get things done, but those are some really quick updates from me. Any questions for you?
Okay, seeing no further questions, the last report of the presidents will be filed away. And now moving further down our agenda, we are now on to guest speakers. So I will allow President Nathan to introduce our guest speaker.
Okay, so, I already just was talking, but yeah, so good evening again. Today we have a really exciting guest speaker from the UIC Senate. We have Kate Floros, Dr. Kate Floros, who's the presiding officer of the UIC Faculty Senate and also a professor of political science. I have been a part of the UIC Senate for 3 years now. It's actually one of the first things I've joined, and I've served on a number of committees. Way too many to count. It changes every year. But this is a really exciting opportunity because obviously there's senior leadership and there's administrators, then there's student government, but another faction of the shared governance model is also the Faculty Senate, which is also, there's a number of student senators seats, which Professor Floros will be discussing. But you know my tech policies, so go ahead and put your devices away. And please welcome Professor Floros up to the podium, or if you want to sit at the table, you're welcome to do whatever you want.
I'm used to standing. Do you
All right,
mind
there you go,
if I
please.
kick
Come on
you
up.
out of your spot?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Kate Floros. I'm a faculty member in the Political Science Department. And as was mentioned, I am the presiding officer of the UIC Senate. It is not the Faculty Senate, and that's exactly why I'm here today, because it is your Senate too. Being presiding officer makes me the chair of the University and Senate Governance Committee. I'm also represent the UIC Senate with the rest of the system senates at the University Senates Conference. I'm an ex officio member of the Senate Executive Committee, and I am just a regular member of the Senate Support Services Committee. So lots of committee meetings, which I'm sure you're all very used to at this point. So yes, indeed, we are the see now you've got me saying the wrong thing. We are the UIC Senate, and we are very frequently referred to as the Faculty Senate, and that makes sense because there are about 250 Senate seats, and 200 of them are faculty. So the lion's share of the Senate is faculty, but we do have academic professional seats, and we have 44 student seats. All right, so how many undergraduate seats? We have 44 student seats. Sorry, this is on the other side of the card. I feel like it's the first day of class and I'm like getting used to new students. Okay, so there are 44 student seats between undergraduate, graduate, health professionals, and the law school graduate students. But undergraduates have 24 seats. So out of those 24 seats, you can just shout out, how many student senators, undergraduate student senators, do you think there are out of 24? 18. I think somebody said it. You have 6.
What?
6. That means there are 18 empty seats on the Senate where student voices are not being represented. So part of my pitch here today is to encourage you to think about running for the Senate, to encourage your friends to run for the Senate, and also we have a bunch of standing committees. So I said the Support Services Committee and the University and Senate Governance Committee, those are ones that I am on. And you don't have to be a senator to be on those committees. So there are a couple that you do have to be a senator for. Most of them are actually mostly faculty only. So pretty much most of the committees are open to any student who is interested in serving. So if there's something specific that you're interested in, you can run for the committee that covers that issue. And currently, so in addition to 18 of your general Senate seats being empty, you're also underrepresented on the Senate committees. And truth be told, and I think you can attest to this, the committees is where the work happens, right? Where the influence is shared, where your voice matters the most, okay? And there are multiple vacant seats for you there. And these committees are really important. Nathan, by the way, is on 4 Senate committees. Hope Davis is on 3, and then another senator is 2, and then somebody else is 1, and then 2 are not on committees. So also joining these committees is going to free up your officers to do some other things. So a committee that has no undergraduate representation is academic services. And that sounds boring, but that's the committee who deals with the library and technology on campus and a whole bunch of educational resources. Currently, there is no undergraduate student on that committee. The Student Recruitment, Admissions, and Retention Committee does exactly what its name suggests, bringing people in and keeping them here so they can succeed through graduation. No representation there. The Support Services Committee, one that I am on, also has no students. This is the committee that deals with the police, housing, dining, parking, the grounds, custodial services. That's all in that committee, and no undergraduate representation. So I want to encourage you to think about running for the Senate itself. There are a lot of open seats. And to think about running for a committee. And the thing is, again, you don't have to be a senator, and we are having our organizing meeting on April something, 23rd, I think. I should have written that down. And that's where we're going to put forward the slate for next year's committees. Now, students usually do most of their getting on the committees in the fall after your elections and all of these things. However, whether, again, because you don't have to be a senator to be on the committees, if you're interested in running for a committee, and I just listed a few of them, there are like 8 or 9 or 10 maybe, you can ask your current student senators to put your name forward on the ballot. And you don't even have to wait for that. You can contact the clerk of the Senate, say you're interested in running for the undergraduate seat on X committee, and you'll be on the slate. And that slate is voted on by the entire Senate. Okay? So you can do that today, as soon as you're allowed to open your laptops. You can email Elizabeth Dooley and ask to be put on a committee. Let's see, I can't read with these glasses on. Let me think. Okay, so the Senate has primary responsibility for setting educational policy, and it advises on almost everything else. As Nathan mentioned, we do have the chancellor at every meeting, unless she's traveling for the system. The provost, the vice chancellor for health affairs. They are there and they take questions. We've also had folks from, the athletic director has spoken. We've had presentations on the LMS transition to Canvas. So people in all different parts of the university come and speak, and the mic is then open for anyone to ask questions about anything they want. And, well, there aren't 200 faculty in the room ever, but I can get how that might be a little nerve-wracking to stand up and ask a question. But again, this is where a great opportunity for you to use your voice on the issues that you care about. The president of the system shows up once a year. So we get all the big names at the Senate. Okay. And you can get to know the faculty better, and you can see how university governance at the non-student level operates. We have a meeting on Wednesday from 3:15 to 4:45. We meet in SSB, the A and B meeting rooms. Anyone is welcome to any meeting. It is an open meeting, and if you have nothing to do on Wednesday afternoon, I think you guys may have an event though. Well, if you have nothing to do on Wednesday afternoon and want to come to the Senate and just see for yourself, we're like I said, we're having a meeting then. My lectures are usually much more. I wrote on a card. Okay, so I don't think I have any really pressing issues that I didn't cover already. And again, it is true that the majority of the senators are faculty, and it is true that most of what we talk about is faculty stuff. But that's really interesting, I think, for people to learn what's going on, how it works behind the scenes, actually see your faculty as real people. But we also, again, we passed a resolution basically condemning the university for pulling DEI statements out of people's promotion packets. We are working on Wednesday when we have our meeting, we're voting on a statute revision for the University of Illinois statutes. we have proposed statute changes. And so there's all kinds of issues where student input is necessary, it's needed, because otherwise it's just faculty making a bunch of decisions, and it may not be what's in the best interest of students. We're doing what we think is best, but having those voices at the table is going to ensure that the actions that we take are going to benefit you and the university as a whole. So, again, run for the Senate. And I think there's an opportunity to do that in the fall. If you want to be on the ballot for the April meeting to get on a committee, like I said, email the clerk of the Senate, and the Senate's website is senate.uic.edu, not really hard. There's a description there of all of the committees, so you can see the work that the committees are doing. And Elizabeth Dooley's email is there if you want to contact her about getting on a committee.
I sent her email to the Slack as well, in case any of y'all are interested.
Oh, nice, thank you, appreciate that. So, yes, that's all I have. Question? Yes,
Yeah,
please?
so in a committee, there's only students and faculty. Are there any administrators also in committees?
Yeah, so I think all of them, actually my committee doesn't, but
Most
Like-
committees have them serve as ex officio to the committee, so they're there and they answer questions, and then they typically provide updates. So like, for example, on the Student Affairs Committee, we just had Vice Chancellor Sharon Evans come by and introduce herself and provide updates on her division. So it ranges from committee to committee, I think. The Student Affairs Committee, more traditionally to what we do, that's just one example. But every committee does different things, and they have different administrators that serve on the committees.
Yes, I was going to say the Vice Chancellor for Administrative Services thinks he's ex officio on one committee, and he's not actually, but he shows up anyway and gives us all kind of information. So yeah, usually, so the External Relations Committee, somebody from Strategic Marketing is there, and so the ex officio members can bring issues directly to the committee, and the Senate Executive Committee can refer questions, issues to committees. So there's two different ways that they get kind of the work that they do. There's an Educational Policy Committee that is in charge of vetting all of the applications for new degrees, to get rid of degrees, to create new programs, new departments, and there is an undergraduate seat. It's currently filled, but if that's something you're interested in, being part of creating the offerings at UIC, that's another one. So there's a whole ton, and a bunch of folks in the student success part are part of that committee. Go ahead.
And how are committees determined? Like if there was a need to create another committee, was there a process for that?
Indeed there is, and I would be the one you would talk to. So as the chair of the University and Senate Governance Committee, you would give us the information. We would probably take it to the Senate Executive Committee to see if there was widespread support for a new committee. And if there was, then we would, my committee, probably me, would write the language for the bylaws, and then the bylaws would have to go through my committee, the Senate Executive Committee, and then it would need a 2/3 vote of the Senate for it to amend the bylaws. So we are actually, my committee doesn't have an undergraduate, we are currently in the process of looking through the charges of all the committees to see, because some committees get overburdened, and some committees have a little more flexibility with their time. And so we're kind of mapping the duties of the committees across the kinds of things that we ask them to do. And so there may be some consolidation or splitting committees into pieces. And so if you're into that kind of thing, governance that's a project we're actively working on, and we'll be continuing to work on it next year. And which will all require bylaws updates. And we have a DEI committee that's in addition to the governance committee, It's one of our newer committees, and it went through that whole process. Other questions? Yes?
Yeah,
Peter?
so, thank you for coming, first of all. And second, I mean, you made this clear to me, but can you reiterate the process of how we can get involved in the fall if we wanted to?
Well, I'm not sure actually what student government's process is for how you, right, it goes through you, the students on the Senate?
Yeah, so the next president is you would reach out to them, just basically say, hey, I'm interested in joining the Senate, and then the president would just send over the names to Elizabeth, and then you just get put on committees during the organizing meeting.
Although if more than 24 of you decide that you want to join, and again, please take this to your friends too. I mean, it would be great to have people on both USG and the Senate, but you know, it's open to any undergraduate who wants to do the work. So talk to your person in the fall and tell them you want to join. Our first meeting is usually the 3rd week of September, and so by then they will have needed to send all the information over. And again, you can email Elizabeth Dooley if you want to be on the slate for a committee. And the only committee that undergraduates can serve on that requires you to be a senator is the Senate Executive Committee. All the other ones do not require you being a senator, so you can do that today.
Perfect, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Well, thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for letting me come and go on and on and on about the Senate. So have a good night, guys.
Being a senator is different than being on the committee, right? Yes. Okay, so like what we put in for, like, the 5 years?
That's the second.
Okay.
So he did everything.
Okay. I was like confused, I was like, you guys really on it? I'm like,
Yeah, so there's 2 ways of getting those.
yeah.
So if you got your 5 votes.
Okay, thank you. So now we are going to actually avoid a recess just to make sure we all stay true to our time commitment of trying to be done by 8 p.m. So we'll be moving on to our next order of business, which is now new business. So, could I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 SA 1019 please read?
That's interesting.
Chief sponsor of the Public Affairs Committee, co-sponsor listed, whereas the Public Affairs Committee is tasked with promoting student wellness during high stress periods of the semester, particularly during exam season, and whereas providing opportunities for students to step away from academic pressures can support their mental health and overall well-being, and whereas providing a de-stress event for students can foster creativity and facilitate community, and whereas painting and chalk art on campus can reduce stress and promote emotional well-being, and let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will organize a painting with PAC event on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026 from 4 to 6 p.m. at a location to be determined, providing students with a relaxed environment to connect with peers and USG representatives.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this bill? President Nathan?
I'll have executive order in this bill.
Okay, so since we'll be voting on it tonight, does anyone have any questions before we vote?
So what is this event really? Is it like a free combined drawing paintings?
So yeah, it's gonna be painting and chalk. The location, like we said, it's gonna be to be determined, but it's just gonna be like you can pave.
We're looking to do it outside actually, so we're looking at UH lawn, maybe just like doing, like students can sit on the grass if they want. But we'll have paint and canvases and all of that.
Like personal paint?
Yeah.
So if you've ever been in the USG office and you've seen that huge stack of canvases, we're just going to use them. So we'll play some music in the background. Students can come, paint what they want, take it home. So it's just a mental de-stressor type of event.
Okay, are there any other questions before we proceed with the voting? Seeing none, we will proceed with the voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 SA 1019, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 SA 1019 has passed. Moving on to our next bill, could I please have Chief Sponsor of Bill 2026 SA 1027 please read?
Yes, Bill 2026 SA 1027, the USC Food Truck Day, Chief Sponsor myself, President Nathan, Chief of Staff Ashley, and Vice President Hibbelli, co-sponsors the Treasury Committee. Whereas organizing social gatherings that facilitate the development of personal bonds between USG members and the student body fosters a welcoming and relatable perception of USG as both an organization and a resource for students, and whereas one of the goals of USG is to actively involve and enhance the experience of members of the undergraduate student body, and whereas USC Athletics and the Student Athlete Advisory Committee aim to increase attendance and participate in sporting activities and socials in order to build a student culture and school pride, whereas USC has home doubleheaders scheduled for April 3rd, where several prominent university faculty and community leaders have expressed interest in attending. Then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will collaborate with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee and UIC Athletics to host a food truck tailgate on April 3rd from 4 to 6 p.m. The time being tentative. We're still working on that near UIC Les Field, which is right behind TBH, involving free food truck and activities/games. Let it be further resolved that UIC shall allocate up to $3,000 for the services of the food truck for the event. Let it be further resolved that all unspent funds shall be returned to the budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this bill?
Yeah, so I know you guys hosted a similar kind of event last year. I was there. It was cool.
Yeah.
It worked really well. I was gonna ask, was it like a similar kind of expense last year around compared with it last year? Or how much?
Yeah, so last year there were basically two different fees. So there was a fees for the food truck and then a fees for the actual food. This year we're gonna scale down on the actual quantity a little bit, just so we can fit it with the budget as well. And then you wanna add anything?
Perfect.
Yeah. And last year it was fully USG covered, and this year Student Athletes Advisory Committee SAC also want to contribute. So we're gonna share. So we're actually paying less because we're gonna do the stereo part, and they want to sponsor the dessert part. So yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
President.
I will be EOA still.
Okay, so before we vote, does anyone have any more questions? Yeah.
Do we have enough money for this? I mean, I keep hearing that we're almost out of money, and it's like 3,000, and the next one's like 50,000.
Yeah, so this event was actually something that we have been planning on a long time, so it was already within the part of the allocations that we made. So it is within still budget to do the food truck and stay, and still have money left over for other events, yes.
Are there any other? Yeah.
What are the other major expenses that we have to pay for that are going to happen in the next few months? You off the top of your head, you know.
The cultural fest or around the world is going to be one of them.
So all the bills presented today are the remaining bills for the semester, and then there's 3 other bills. There's the talent show, there's this organization conference, and then there's one more, and a professional event. And Earth Day too, 4 bills, I lied. So those are the 4 other bills that are not being presented today, and the bills being presented today are all going to be EO'd, just because we don't have a GBM next week, and it's spring break the week following, so that's why they're all getting EO'd today. And then the 4 remaining bills, they're categorized so that the 2 other GBMs we have left, they'll be presented at that next GBM we have March 30th, and then the funding is allocated appropriately for the bills today for those 4 events, and then a little bit more discretionary funding in case there's extra funding, extra taxes and stuff that we didn't account for, so that everything's allocated correctly. So yes, Akshat has shared that we're dwindling down, but the allocations are appropriated, that's what we're running at, appropriated in the correct capacity, so that we're maximizing our budget for the entire year. Does that make sense, context-wise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to roll over on our budget, like by any amount?
No.
Okay.
Are there any other final questions before we proceed with the voting? Seeing none, we will proceed with the voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 SA 1027, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 SA 1027 has passed. Moving on to our next bill, could I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 SA 1028, please read?
So Bill 2026 SA 1028, around the world at UIC, the chief sponsors are the DIC committee, and the co-sponsors are President Nathan, Treasurer Akshal, and Chief of Staff Ashley. Whereas the undergraduate student government seeks to foster inclusivity, belonging, and student engagement through community-oriented events that bring students together from diverse backgrounds, and whereas the University of Illinois Chicago is a home to a highly diverse student population representing cultures from around the world, and whereas the DIC committee aims to celebrate this diversity by hosting around the world at UIC a cultural festival that highlights the traditions, performance, and communities represented across campus while encouraging students to connect with one another, and whereas the event will include cultural performances, music, lawn games, and interactive activities designed to promote cultural appreciation and community engagement among students, then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will allocate funds for supplies and catering to support the Around the World at UIC event hosted by the DIC in April 2026 to promote community engagement and inclusivity on campus. Let it be further resolved that USG will allocate $3,000 for the cost of the event. Let it be further resolved that any unused funds will be returned to the USG budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this bill? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, can you clarify what the money is going towards?
So
Because
a huge part of the money will be going through catering because we're going to be ordering from outside vendors. We haven't finalized the catering order just yet, but majority of the money will be going through catering, and we're also going to have raffle prizes at the event. So a lot of the other budget will be going to the raffle prizes.
and I kind of have a follow-up question. Which, because I know it's around the world, but, I guess which cultures are getting represented, and then, I guess, the opposite of that would be, how do we decide which cultures aren't?
So DIC is reaching out to a lot of cultural student orgs on campus and asking if they want to participate. So I have a list of all the cultural orgs that are already existing on campus. So we're reaching out to them to see if they want to participate in this event. So they'll be hosting a big event, not USG in particular. We're just in charge of creating the event and organizing it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's open to everyone.
I'll be executive ordering this bill.
Okay, so before we proceed to the voting, does anyone else have any final questions? Seeing none, we will proceed to the voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 SA 1028, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 SA 1028 has passed. Moving on to our next bill, may I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 SA 1030, please read.
Bill 2026 SA 1030, AI resources tabling event, chief sponsors as listed, co-sponsors as listed. Whereas the undergraduate student government is committed to promoting academic integrity, digital literacy, and helping students navigate emerging trends in technology, and whereas artificial intelligence is an expanding field that continues to impact the workforce, education, and job market, increasing the need for an educated and prepared student body, and whereas employers may seek employees who are steeped in AI resources and able to apply those skills in practical settings, and whereas an interactive event where UIC students can learn about AI resources available to them, their usage, ask questions, and receive guidelines would greatly enhance student understanding and engagement with artificial intelligence, then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will host an AI resources event, providing students with the opportunity to learn about various AI tools, their ethical implications, and discover possible AI career paths. And let it be further resolved that the promotion for these events will include flyers across campus and digital promotion via USG social media pages, and let it be resolved that USG will allocate $150 for cookies and snacks for the initiative, and let it further be resolved that USG will allocate $100 for the promotion and printing of materials for the initiative, and let it further be resolved that any unused funds will return to the USG budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions? President Nathan?
So this is a new initiative that we're pursuing in student government, which I'm very excited about, which is coming both from the new Director of Student Success, but also Representative Street. So we actually have a meeting tomorrow. We're going to be meeting with Handshake, and they're partnering up with OpenAI and Google to kind of do a hackathon event too. So we're gonna learn more about it. But this is essentially what is gonna be rooted kind of in this particular initiative is about raising AI awareness for producing that, or encouraging that creativity, excuse me. But then also thinking about how do we train our students to be digitally literate in this new day and age. So that's kind of the purpose behind this event. So the exact event and what this is going to look like is going to be very much subject to what the meeting tomorrow goes, but their handshake and Google has a very tight timeline, which is relatively at the very end of this month, early April. So that's why we just have to present the bill now. But it is very subject to change, and the director of Success Hari will continue to keep you guys updated with developments and such. But very exciting new initiative, which I'm particularly excited about, but I would also be POing this one.
Okay, so before we proceed with the voting, does anyone else have any questions? Yeah.
How will this promote academic integrity?
Okay, I'll take it. I mean, academic integrity in the sense of ethically utilizing AI, so not in the sense of here's how to cheat, but how do you use AI to study? How do you use AI as a tool and a resource versus not just being like, this is how you cheat.
Part of the event is also talking about the ethical implications. So while we're working with Google, we're also going to be working to like tell them what is like the right way to use it, how to use it, but like as an educational tool and not just as a tool for cheating.
Okay, following that. Yeah.
So is this like a panel discussion event, or is it like students will go around the table and get information about different AI topics? What's the structure?
Tree, you want to chime in?
Yeah, what we want to do is just a simple tabling event with flyers, or AI infographics with it. And part of our meeting tomorrow with Handshake, we'll be discussing a potential hackathon. It's going to be a super cool thing. So it's kind of going to be a promotion for the hackathon, as well as just a combo infographic tells us about all the resources they have available and how they can utilize them to be better students.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be important to maybe have like professors or anybody else that has some sort of expertise they're going to give us that they would talk to in person?
Well, folks from like OpenAI and Handshake will have those expertise, but that's a great discussion that we can also adopt with professors.
Okay, following that, are there any more questions before we proceed to the voting? Seeing none, we will proceed with the voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 S8 1030, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 S8 1030 has passed. Moving on to our next bill, could I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 S8 1031, please read?
Yeah, the bill 2026 S8 1031, USC Picnic, the chief sponsors and co-sponsors are as follows. Whereas the undergraduate student government strives to enhance student lives by fostering community engagement, inclusivity, and meaningful social interactions among students, and whereas fostering a sense of belonging, community engagement, and student well-being has been shown to positively impact academic persistence, retention, and overall student success rate at USC. And whereas hosting a picnic event at the quad will provide a safe and welcoming environment for the students to participate in recreational and social activities. And whereas the planned event will include activities such as card games, board games, bingo, Jenga, and other games designed to encourage participation and engagement among students, then let it be resolved that USG authorizes and supports the organization and hosting of a picnic event at the quad on April 2nd, 2026, and let it be further resolved that the undergraduate student government shall allocate $1,100 from the USG budget to support event bookings, purchase recreational games, and other necessary event supplies, and let it be further resolved that this event shall serve as a community building initiative open to all students, providing opportunities for social interaction, recreational, and campus engagement, and let it be further resolved that the undergraduate student government shall coordinate with the appropriate university offices and departments to ensure proper planning, safety, and compliance with the university policies for the successful execution of this event, and let it be further resolved that any unused funds will be returned to the ERG budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this event? I have a question. So it says we would be purchasing recreational games. Do we have an idea of what those games will be?
Yep, bingo, Jenga, other board games, basically.
Okay.
We have a number of games in our closet too, but we also have in the USG closet in the office. But we also will partner up with the rec to borrow some of their things as well, and some of our campus partners. I'm also EOing this.
Okay, so before we proceed with the voting, does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, we will proceed with the voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 S8 1031, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 S8 1031 has passed. Moving to our next bill, could I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 S8 1032, please read?
Yeah, so Bill 2026 S8 1032, Study with Snacks. Essentially, this is the library study with snacks that they annually do. However, they had to, they were going to cut the program essentially, but student government is willing to kind of step in. And given that it's finals week and students enjoy the snacks and want to get the opportunity to get some snacks when they're studying and during finals week, where they have the coffee and the individually packaged snacks and the bars to really grab quickly. USG will be providing, I think it's $1155.35 to cover one of the days on May 4th. There's 2 days. Library will cover the other day. USG covers the Monday day during finals week for the library study with snacks. And any unspent funds will be returned to the budget. But that's essentially the synopsis of this bill. And I will be yielding.
Okay, thank you. So before we proceed with the voting, does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, we will proceed with the voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 S8 1032, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 S8 1032 has passed. Moving on to our next bill, could I please have a chief sponsor of Bill 2026 SA 1033, please read?
Yeah, I got it. Bill 2026 SA 1033, study proposal, chief director, or chief sponsor, who sponsors as listed. Whereas the undergraduate student government is committed to supporting student success and well-being, particularly during high-stress academic periods, and whereas students frequently gather at the Richard J. Daley Library preparing for final exams, and whereas maintaining focus and well-being is essential for academic performance, students often neglect meals and self-care during finals, whereas fostering a supportive, collaborative study environment can help alleviate stress and enhance student motivation. Then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will host a Studypalooza event tentatively on April 23rd, 2026 at the Richard J. Daley Library to support students preparing for final exams. Let it be further resolved that USC will collaborate with campus partners to provide an engaging and resourceful study environment, including academic support, study materials, and wellness resources. Let me further resolve that USC will allocate $2,200 for the purchase of food and snacks to support students studying final exams. Let me further resolve that any unspent funds will be returned to the USC budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this bill?
What food is being purchased?
So Jimmy John's, it's similar to how it's been in the past 3 semesters. I will say this is probably one of our most successful and quick events because it's gone around for 30 minutes and it's insane how fast students get this. And limit it to 1. But so many students, it's funny when I walk around, I always get the question, "What are you guys doing the Jimmy John's event in the library again?" So this is always a fun one. Students always remember USG too as well. So I'll be going this a bit.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions before we decide to vote? Seeing none, we will proceed to the voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 SA 1033, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 SA 1033 has passed. Moving on to our next bill, could I please have Chief sponsor Bill 2026 SA 5006, please read.
Yeah, so this is the UNI Care Week bill, so chief sponsors, co-sponsors are listed. Whereas the undergraduate student government is committed to creating a campus that provides students with care resources on campus with UNI Care Week. And whereas the undergraduate student government would collaborate with all on-campus student organizations to host a clothing drive competition promoting the collection of clothing items to club, meetings, and chapters. Let it be resolved that USG will hold a tabling event in SCE with the Dean of Student Assistance Office during the week of March 30th and provide information regarding the UNI Care Week, which is that week, as well as pass out their resources. Let it also be further resolved that USG will organize a student organization competition to collect and raise food donations for the USC Sparky's Closet and will offer $100 of USC catering credit for the student organization that collects the most amount of donation items. Let it be further resolved that USG will work closely with numerous organizations on campus aimed at supporting UNI Care Week on campus, and let it be further resolved that any unspent funds will be returned to the USG budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this bill? President Nathan?
Been talking about. I'm going to say the voting.
Okay, thank you. So before we proceed to the voting, does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, we will proceed with voting. All those in favor of passing Bill 2026 SA 5006, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? The ayes have it. Bill 2026 SA 5006 has passed. Moving on to our final bill of the evening, could I please have Chief sponsor of Bill 2026 SA 5007, please read.
I can take this. So it's the healthcare response training. Chief sponsors and co-sponsors as listed. Whereas the undergraduate student government is committed to creating a campus that is informed about basic healthcare skills, training, and awareness. And whereas the undergraduate student government will collaborate with the Wellness Center, the Recreation and Wellbeing Center, UI Health, and the Epilepsy Foundation of Greater Chicago on education, creation, and material on CPR, choking, stroke, seizure, and Narcan training. And let it be resolved that USG will do basic healthcare response training during the week of April 6th or April 15th to provide information on basic healthcare trainings with speakers and training experts. And let it be further resolved that USG will invite student organizations and related healthcare screening and awareness groups to the table and provide information about healthcare management. Let it be further resolved that USG will work with partner organizations and groups on board with basic healthcare training and allot $100 for necessary materials. Let it be further resolved that any unspent funds will be returned to the USG budget.
Okay, thank you. So does anyone have any questions about this bill? Yeah.
What trainings will be given out, and does it cost and participate as a
So there won't be any cost as per the training. We're still in communication with some of the organizations, but ideally we'll have CPR training, stroke and seizure response training for sure, and then we're still looking at basic health related things such as choking. We'll confirm over spring break with the full set of training events, but yeah, it'll be free. And then to add on to that, there's another question that someone might have, but do you know about full certification, basic certification?
Yeah, so the individual who's going to be coming in for the specific CPR certification is American Heart certified, so that's the type of expertise that we're going to be interacting with, as well as the entire thing is not certification based, but it's just to give basic life skills and informational services for situations that